Welcome to Teen Talk, and thank you for joining us. We are here today with the ladies of the NAACP AXO New Brunswick location. These lovely ladies have decided to join us, and they're going to speak to us about generational disconnect, the difference between my age group and theirs, between my parents and theirs, their parents and ours. They're going to touch on all of the things and the ways that they are affected by the views and the perspectives that we share and that we don't share as the years go by. So first, I would like you to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Maya Creekmer, and I am a proud member of the New Brunswick area branch of the AXO program.
I'm Mahaya. I'm from the New Brunswick area branch of the NAACP, and I was introduced to AXO because my sister was in the program when she was in high school.
Hello, I'm Elisa Mason. I am a senior. It's my second time at AXO. Tamira, talk your talk.
Hi, my name is Tamira. I became a part of AXO because I was invited here and I like to dance and I want to show my talent.
I'm Nia Brown. This is my first year doing AXO.
I decided to do AXO because I really wanted to improve on my skills in photography and also to just kind of get to know people and just become more a part of the neighborhood.
I thought it would be a good way to use my public speaking skills to improve and further me in life.
I joined AXO because a friend invited me here, and I am really skilled in acting and dance, and I really wanted to show my talents to people.
I decided to do AXO because I guess it's a good opportunity.
Okay, well, thank you, Nia. We appreciate you joining us. I'm going to let you off the hook for the moment, and I am going to return. You have decided to be the group leader, so at this point, I'm going to turn the show over to the ladies of AXO and let them tell you how the generational disconnect affects their lives in good ways and bad. So please.
So I know we are all in high school, and we all know the stresses of school and how school can affect your mood and just some of our mental health and stuff like that. So does anybody know how they want to I don't know, start off the conversation by talking about school just in general? How do you feel school is good or bad or whatever?
Well, being a senior in high school, I'm so happy that I'm already here, but getting here was really tough for me. I'm not as academically skilled. I'm more on the creative side of things. I'm really into the arts, so and I feel I wish that the arts were kind of more valued in high school. How about a valedictorian for the arts, or art or dance or acting, So I feel it should be more broadcast.
So that being said, is that something that is different in your generation than what your parents had or what you've heard from your parents? Do you think that they support you being on the artistic side, not the academic side?
My mom does support me for both ways, and I'm happy for that, but I feel the old generations, it was more you have to be book smart, your grades matter.
Yeah. I agree. I think that nowadays it's more than just having good grades, everybody not everybody, but a lot of students get good grades, and a lot of kids just go through high school or go through college just getting good grades, but now you have to show that you bring more to the table than just good grades. You have to show off talents, and you have to be I guess culturally out there and skilled, and you have to be diverse, so you can't just be such a straight line. You have to be diverse and
well-rounded.
Yeah, well-rounded.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to do that because Alnisa said the arts are just not as I guess showcased and respected, I guess, and appreciated, and I feel the academic side of school is so much more valued. So there's a lot more honor societies at our school than there are we don't have a dance class at our school. We don't have a dance class at school, so we can't even do that. But there's AP classes numbers of different types of AP classes that you wouldn't even think about.
Okay, so as a group, you would agree that this is an opportunity to make your community leaders, your parents, your politicians aware that the programs that you need for your schools and to become well-rounded young adults and future leaders are on the artistic and the creative side. You've got the academic programs, we've kind of locked that down, but you're missing art and music and dance and things of that nature. So if you could ask for one type of funding from our public, from our parents, from our politicians, it would be to support an arts program, a dance program. What matters to this group of young women? Anyone?
In my opinion, I feel like funding for either dance or art.
Okay.
Either or, because like those are two very good career paths that you could be on, that you could be very successful in if you're good. And honestly, you can be educated in those things more than you could be in like academic things, I guess you could say.
So you mentioned that those could be career options if you are provided the instruction and opportunity to engage in them earlier. Give us some idea what you would do with that. Would it be ballet? Would it be choreographing for videos and television movies? How can you show us that this has value and it's something we should get behind as the adults in your world and do everything we can to provide you the funding to make that a mandatory or at least an available part of your educational system?
Well, for the dancing part, if you're a dancer or artist, then for art you can like design a whole bunch of stuff, or you could design videos or posters or anything that you're gonna need the academic side for that, but nobody wants to just look at a like essay that has nothing visual to it. So you need the art part of it to get people's attention. And then you need like the dance part for something to be entertaining. Like you're not gonna go to a musical that's just talking. Well, I mean, unless you can go to unless you can go to like spoken word. But like if you're looking for a musical, you need like dancing.
Okay, you make very strong points. You have something to either support or contrast?
Just to kind of like go back to the idea of how the arts are kind of secondary in schooling and just like throughout, because like the math and sciences are supposed to be like our #1 priority, but if you think about it, when we do public speaking and arts and stuff, I think it teaches us more than like skills that we're going to need outside of life, because like some people don't go to college and further their education, or like schooling wise, that they're gonna need to be able to talk to a room full of people, and just like our society is like, we're improving and technology is being furthered, and we need graphic design artists and art, because you can't have a logo without someone to be able to design it. You can't.
Okay, so you seem to all be on the same page with that. And I think you're right. I think that presents a huge part of being well-rounded, because your supplemental education, your art, your dance, your public speaking are things, whether you realize it or not at this point in your life, that teach you how to interview, how to walk into a room and command and not demand respect and attention, to bring yourself to the top of the chart. The way that you sit, the way that you speak, the ability to control the volume and quality in your voice are things that you learn in acting and dancing in any type of public event that you're not going to learn from a textbook. It has nothing to do with how Christopher Columbus got here or how Grover Washington invented something. And we need that information because we don't want to repeat our past. But our future changes every day, and I would agree that we need to incorporate not just the technology and the textbook, but applicable life skills. And a lot of that comes from exposure as a young person with dancing and creative thinking, creative writing, actual arts and crafts and graphic design, and the ability to do public speaking. With that being said, what else is something you see that is very, very disconnected from your parents' generation to yours, or their parents' generation to yours? What else can we improve on and help you with?
Well, I feel like not necessarily, like, you know, sometimes in school you just see a lot of people like going through their own like different struggles and stuff like that. And a lot of times, like recently, one of my friends, she kind of like had a like minor like breakdown, I guess you could say, but she also felt like she couldn't even like express herself to like like counselors or teachers or anything like that. So it was kind of like she felt like she could only like talk to like her friends, I guess you could say. And like even in talking to like your friends, you don't always want to like say everything to them, because you never know somebody, you know, at the end of the day we all go to school together, and you never know if somebody might like say something, or you know.
Okay.
So going back to like the generational disconnect, I think that like a lot of times people might like kids might not know how to like reach out to the other generations, and like sometimes that's like you need like, I guess, that like extra push or something, and maybe like other older generations just don't like seem like what's the word, like they don't understand or like get it, I guess.
And we're back.
Welcome back to Teen Talk, and thank you for tuning back in. We are here today with the lovely young women of the NAACP New Brunswick Division of ACSO. They have asked us to give them an opportunity to present to you the way that they feel and are affected by generational disconnects, the things that I felt my parents didn't understand and they now feel that I as a parent don't understand. We were talking a little bit about right before the break about how the academic pressures of today are much more intense. They feel that way. I feel like I had the worst course load ever, but I think every generation feels that way. So I am going to return the conversation to you. If you want to pick back up and tell us what exactly you feel and how these pressures are affecting you.
I feel like parents don't really understand mental health that well. Like, I have a friend, she's like not in the best state. Like, she's really under pressure with grades and classes and trying to be on top all the time, and her mom does not understand that. Like, she doesn't hear her out or want to understand her. It's just like work, get good grades, apply here, you know, just get up there. And she's really under pressure, and she doesn't know, you know, how to control or deal with it. And I feel like parents, they don't understand that, because they want the best for their kid, and I get that, but I feel like the kid needs a break or, you know, time to just relax and, you know.
Yeah, and just like kind of like lay back and just kind of like get a break, I guess. And like we all like hope for like days off of school, because like some days you just need like a catch up. Like you just need to like be able to like catch back up. And like parents always think, oh, all you do is just go to school, come home, watch TV. Like it's not just go to school. Like it's a lot more like to it than just like, you know, just like what parents think. Like I bet if my parents like went through all of my classes, they would be like stressed too.
Okay. Would you agree?
Yes.
So what kind of caseload or class load do you have? Where are you feeling stress?
I like, on top of like all the regular classes that I have, like, which are like stressful in itself. I know I'm not the only one here that plays sports, but I also do track, and then on top of that, I have other outside of school activities that I do. So it's stressful when you have to like commit to other things, but then on top of that you have to go to school. And then they don't realize, like, yes, you want me to do these things so that I can further my opportunities, but at the same time, I'm stressed out because of it.
So what are some of the things that you do to, I guess, handle or manage that stress? What works for you?
I mean, I just go with the flow, honestly. Like,
okay.
I just go to school, and then during track is when I like usually let it out.
Okay, so then your track, although it is one of the things that is part of your workload, it's the thing that you do because you enjoy it the most. It's something that is done that gives you the ability to go, okay, it was a really rough day. I've really earned this run, or I'm going to run out that teacher that gave me the bad grade or didn't like my paper or whatever it is.
I guess kind of something like that.
If you could pick something else, what would you like to do that would allow you to alleviate stress once a day or once a week? What would be your me time?
Probably like just a time to just sit down and relax without having to be bugged out. Oh, do the dishes, or like, oh, clean your room. Like, yes, I don't have to clean, but like I just need a second just to myself.
Okay. So you
For
need to
me,
make.
when I'm like really built up with stress, like acting helps me a lot because like I'm playing someone else. I'm not myself, so like I can like be this character and like feel this character and what they go through and like just let it out in that character point of view.
Like for me, like I like to dance, so like I'll dance to get my stress out.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like what I do is I'm like currently like reading this book, but it's like an interactive book, so it's kind of like a journal in a book, and so like it kind of like asks questions, and like throughout the book, but it's not like a fiction book. It's just like a teen's like guide to like just life. So yeah, it's a really good book.
Okay, I have one person left in our panel. What do you do?
So
to relieve
I know it might
stress?
sound like silly to other people, but I kind of like meditate in a sort of sense where I just like lay down or whatever, and I put like this recording behind me, and I kind of just try to let everything go. And I know that like when I go to sleep, like I'm still stressed because I wake up at 3 o'clock. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and think about, oh my gosh, I have to write this down because I'm gonna forget it when I wake up in the morning, and I always have something on my brain. And like that time is just for me to like just decompress and like relax and like just be able to finally like be able to catch my breath.
Yeah, and like
Sounds like you young ladies have a lot on your plate. You've got 1,000,001 things going on, what you expect from yourselves and what your parents expect from you. You might want to do and take 10 minutes and do like an Excel sheet or something where you time management, where you program into that day maybe 2 or 3 10-minute intervals where you just take time out. Time to think, time to enjoy a cup of tea, or to just have a snack with no TV and no cell phone and no books. Just sort of a quiet moment, just a moment of self, where you're not obligated to do anything with it. And if you do it in 10-minute increments, it cuts the pressure, and it's not as hard to find 10 minutes a couple times a day as it's going to be to find a 30-minute stretch in your day with the way that our society runs, where you can really do that. Talk to your parents about it. Let them know. Please, I can't stress enough, talk to us. Because as much as everything we do for you, we're not on the other side. We don't really know what it is that you need unless you communicate with us. You know what, Mom, I had a really long day. I had 100 classes, Dad. I know the dishes are my responsibility, but can I just have 15 minutes to just sit in my room or sit on the sofa, sit on the front step and enjoy the fresh air, drink a snack, eat my grilled cheese, and when I come back in, remind me so that I don't forget, can you deal with the dishes? Or, don't forget to vacuum your room. But communicate with us, let us know what you need, because if we can help you with what you need, then you can accomplish the things that we expect from you. But really work on giving yourself that 2 or 3 sets of 10 minutes a day so that you're not overloaded. Because the last thing we need is for our teenage group to have numbers that are reaching as high as the adult groups with strokes and stress issues. So please speak up, and speak up for each other. If you know that Yusuf and his parents don't communicate well, but you have a pretty good relationship with Yusuf, Yusuf, there's really a lot going on at school for us. I know Yusuf isn't going to say anything, but he could use 10 minutes when he gets home from school to just unwind. I know when I talked to my parents about it, and my dad said, okay, as long as I get it done before whatever, the deadline is that they set, then I can kind of schedule that. He's my friend and I care about him. Maybe you two can talk, or maybe I can kind of work with you to find that happy ground. If you support each other and stand up for yourselves, you'll gain ground.
Sometimes I don't feel like I'll be able to get the 10 minutes because it's like I go from school to work, from work back home. I'm getting home like 10 o'clock at night. And then it's like, go do your homework, go wash the dishes, go to sleep. You gotta wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, do it all over again. And it's like I have other things that I do, like Girl Scouts, coming here, go to church. It's like a set schedule every day.
How do you get from school to work?
From school to work, I get off the bus from school, and then I change, and my mom's outside to pick me up, and I go to work.
You really don't even have that 10 minutes where you could just put in headphones and listen to the sound of the ocean between that travel time, so that you're not being affected by the outside world, that you just have time in your head?
I was like in the car, but I'm usually talking to my mom a little bit.
So maybe don't. You know what, Mom, I love you, but right now I just need 10 minutes between Project A and Project B to get my own thoughts straight, and we'll talk when I get home, or we can talk on the ride home. Try to find that time, because it's insane for you to feel so stressed at 15 and 16 and 17 where you're actually thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to have a stroke. I'm not going to make it. I can't do this. I can't handle it. everybody has to learn time management and personal accountability. That does not mean that everything in your life is more important than you, because if you fall apart, nothing gets done. Try to work with your parents, with your teachers, with the adults around you on making sure that you have some time for yourself. Because if you can preserve that, you can be better. You can do more. But if every minute of your waking life is focused on something else, whether it's something that you want or something someone expects from you, and you don't have time to just be, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna burn out really fast.
Yeah.
And that's a waste. You girls have so much to offer.
Yeah, well, I know this might like sound silly and it might not work for everybody, but like what I like sometimes do is like just take like a 10-minute like power nap, or even 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Like I remember one time I took like 5 minutes, like just when I got home from school. I literally slept for 5 minutes because I was just so tired. I slept for 5 minutes and I woke back up like just like so much better. Like it didn't even it felt like an hour. Like it was really good power nap. And like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because you might not be able to like fall asleep that fast.
Okay.
But when you're like really tired, it really comes in handy.
That's a great suggestion. What do you think? Would that be something you'd find helpful?
Yeah.
The nap thing, not really, only because I really like sleeping. So
Yeah, me too.
like the way that's set up is like there's no way I'm sleeping for just 5 minutes.
Okay. But you know yourself, and that's a good thing. Honesty is always a good thing, particularly when it comes to being who you are. What do you think would be helpful?
Maybe like what you said before, having my own space, like the 10-minute thing, having 10 minutes in my day to just relax and have my own time.
Okay. What do you think?
Well, I just like, I know when I go ride the bus in the morning, and if my dad, or like, I put my headphones in and I turn it all the way up and I kind of just like let go for like that 15-20 minute ride on the bus. Like I just kind of relax, and like I just kind of become like something else. I just am kind of just there, and it's like kind of relaxing for me to just
So
have,
in your
like, no
own
problem.
way,
Yeah.
you're sort of following on what you said about the acting. You get to be someone
Yeah.
or somewhere else for a couple of minutes a day.
Yeah, or even just like when when I go in the shower and like I put my speaker in the shower and I just put the music and lock the door and like
That's the best thing ever.
I genuinely like when I go to school, I'm like, I can't wait to take a shower when I get home so that I can do that. Or like I can't wait to just go in my bed and sit in the dark room.
Yeah,
the dark
that
room
too.
is-
Or like I know it sounds silly, like I like crossing things like off a checklist. Like it just like feels like, oh, like I got that done.
Okay.
And like
Yeah.
now I can just like relax for that 5 seconds or like that 5-minute interval.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have some fantastic coping skills.
She
And
just spoke.
as you make that a part of your life and a part of the ritual that becomes you, it becomes less a coping skill and more a management tool as you get older. And if you've learned that now and you expand upon it, by the time you get to be my age and you've got the crazy corporate job or the 2 kids and a husband, you've built these techniques into your everyday lifestyle, and you will manage to stay as sane as you can be with toddlers, because there is only a limit to the level of sanity you can have with toddlers. But you will learn to be healthy and self-empowered so that you know, okay, this is my limit. In order for me to maintain and do all of these things for the rest of the world, right now in this second, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go have a cup of tea. I'm going to go in a dark room and sit in the quiet. I'm going to light a candle. And if you learn to do that and you make other people respect that you need that, you will be a better person, and you will be able to provide more for the people that you love and to do more for yourself. So I'd like to commend you all on being able to identify what it is that you do to pull away and manage your stress at such a young age. Give yourselves a really good pat on the back and a round of applause. Good job, ladies.
And we're back with
Alnisa, Timira,
Maya,
Nia,
Mahaya.
on Teen Talk. So today we want to continue the conversation by talking a little bit about how our parents kind of create career paths that they think are best for us, and we don't always like agree. So Alnisa, I know you're a senior, so do you have anything like to talk about?
I don't exactly relate to that, but as a senior going to college, I just feel like I'm really under pressure to just, do well and study hard in school and, stay on track. But, college is a big step from high school, and it's going to be really different. and like a lot of adjusting to do, and I'm just like really nervous to get into it, but hopefully I am ready. And hopefully my mom is, she's relaxed about it and she's not, putting pressure on me.
Yeah, I think like a lot of times our parents like they put so much like emphasis on like, oh, you have to go to college, you have to get this job that makes this amount of money, and like sometimes it's just like we're still kids at the end of the day, and with everything else, like the last thing we need to be worried about is like what comes like so much like later in our lives. Like I'm a sophomore, so I don't really I have like 2 more years, but that's still not a whole lot of time. But it stresses me out a lot when I think about like 2 more years. Like that's
Yes.
Yeah.
And like it's a big jump from like being a kid in high school to like adult life in college.
Yeah. I think that like a lot of times like what our parents like want for us cannot all like it might not always seem like it's what's best for us. So like my dad, for example, he's a journalist, so he he's a writer, like he does that kind of stuff. But like he kind of wanted me to like do stuff because he owns his own website, so he kind of wanted me like write stuff, and I was just like, this is just not for me. Like it's just like I don't like writing that much. So and it was hard for him to like accept that because he wanted me to be like just like him, kind of. And it was just like, I don't like writing like you do, but I like doing other things. And sometimes our parents just don't like understand all the way like what it is to be like your own person.
Right, like I feel like my mom, like since I was little, she put in, like said in my head, like, well, you're gonna be a doctor, like you have to be a doctor. So it's like you gotta be on top of your kids, you gotta get a scholarship, like you have to do all this stuff to go to college, and it's like you're going to college is no other option. So it's like, dang, can you like make my own choice at the end of the day?
So like Almisa said, like I don't actually like I kind of relate to this issue, but in different kind of views, because my parents don't necessarily put expectations on me that I have to go to college, but they kind of put expectations on me that I have to do something with my life. If I'm not going to go to college, I have to be productive. Like there's no other option then. And like I'm happy that they put those on me because it just gives me like an incentive to like get better and like keep doing things. Like I know that like even though they don't say college is the only option, like I want college to be like my further education when I'm a junior, and I want it to be in 2 years, like to go to college, and like I want to do things, and they don't like pressure me to do that. And I think it's just how like my parents, because I have older siblings, so they've learned from over the course of time that it's not always everyone's plan. It doesn't always work out like how you want it to.
Yeah, and I think like I'm not like, oh, I don't want to go to college and my parents are like making me go to college. Like it's not even like that. It's just like a lot of times it feels like parents can be like so not like closed-minded when it comes to like certain things, and like they just don't like always like understand, and like talking about college and like even like a lot of like my dad's friends, like my parents' friends, they're already asking me like, oh, have you decided where you want to go to college yet? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, no. I'm like, I haven't.
It's good to know, but like you're still a kid.
Yeah, and a lot of like people are asking me like what I want to do when I grow up, and like when you're a kid you have like, oh, I want to be an actress, I want to do this. Like everybody has like those ideas, and then like now it's kind of like, what do I want to do? And but it's like also kind of stressing when it's like I'm only a sophomore, like I don't know.
Right, it's like every other day I'm thinking of like, oh, what college has like the best like doctoring like classes, I guess, but I've leveled it down so I don't want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So like my mom's kind of changing her mind, like, okay, so like I want to be like a nurse practitioner. It's like I can do like the same thing, but like, I'm a little limited of what doctors do.
Yeah.
So it's like, dang, I'm already looking at colleges that have like the best nursing courses, and it's like I'm only a sophomore, and it's like a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
That.
Well, I'm only a freshman, so I'm like not as close to college as you guys are, but I still like feel the same pressures because people in my grade are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I don't really know what I want to do yet, but I do know that my parents want me to do something and be like a certain thing, but I don't want to do that. So it's like, as long as I go to college, I think I'll be good. But because I have to go to college because my parents want me to go to college, not because I want to go to college.
Yeah, like, I feel like college is, like, kind of, like, a little bit like a scam because it's, like, we've been in school for, like, so many years already. Like, I don't always understand. Like, I know it's good, like, it looks good, but, like, you have to, like, just because you go to college does not mean that you're smart. And, like, just because you go to college does not mean that you're a well-rounded person or you're a good person either.
Or that you'll get a job after.
Yeah. And
a
I
lot
think,
of jobs do not just accept your high school diploma if you really think about it.
yeah.
And
it's
a
like,
lot of them aren't even accepting, like, the first 4 years. You gotta go, like, longer than that now.
yeah, and even, like, when you think about it, kind of, like a lot of good jobs, you have to take more school, like, to get a good job. Like, why do I have, like, I mean, you're gonna use, like, a lot of the skills that you're gonna learn, but, I mean, you're probably gonna learn a lot more skills just by actually, like, doing stuff, like, actually working.
Real life experience.
Yeah, like, real world experiences. You're going to learn, like, actually how to become a better person and just, like, have a better work ethic by working. Like, you can't, like, just go to school your whole life and then, like, in my opinion, I feel like you can't, like, you shouldn't just have to go to school your whole life and then not even be guaranteed a job. Like, I never, like, understood that. Yeah, and then you'll be in debt because, like, a lot of colleges don't even, like to provide, like, financial aid and stuff like that. And it's, like, you walk out of the door with immediate amounts of debt and, like,
you walk in with zero, you come out
with
50,000, 30,000.
And that's like a stress in itself because then you'll be paying for that money your whole life because you never know, like, the school you might want to go to might not give you a scholarship, but the school that like you don't want to go to, like, let's say, like, oh, I want to go to Harvard, but Rutgers is giving me a scholarship. I don't want to go to Rutgers, but Harvard's not giving me any money, so now I have to go to Rutgers.
And God forbid if you die and you didn't, like, pay off your student debt. That just goes straight to your family. Like, I'm just saying, like now you gotta think about your family. Like, if you die, now all of that money has to go to your family. Why do they have to pay that? Not saying, like,
they have to suffer for
No, yeah. And it's like a stressor in itself. Like, if you want to go to a college and, like, getting scholarships and just, like, that's a stressor in itself. Like, I don't want to have to make my parents come out $50,000 in pocket. Like, me and my dad sit down every Saturday morning and, like, talk about colleges, and he was like, you're not going there because that's $50,000. And, like, even with financial aid, like, and scholarships, that's only $36,000. Like, that's ridiculous. And, like, you have to, like, take all the things in consideration, and it's just, like, there's so many kids, like, now I know, like, in our school, like, there's 3,000 kids in our school. And that's 3,000 kids competing for, however many spots in a school. And we all have the same things, and we all have to try to, like, make ourselves different from each other. And sometimes it comes down to, like, if you have the money or not. Or, like, if you, like, we all have the same things, and it's just the little things that we can't really change.
And the crazy thing about our school is that they care a lot about sports and academics, but, like, not all sports. It's mainly, like, if you play basketball or football, you're important. If anything else, if you play basketball, football, and get good grades, you'll be fine. It's like a guaranteed scholarship. All your teachers will recommend you. But, like, other things, like what we were saying before, it relates back to the arts. You could be really good at art, like, super talented, but it's not as appreciated.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with, like, what's the word, like your class, like I feel like if you think about it, like, arts and, like, music and stuff, like, those type of talents are, like, lower in the class spectrum. They're underrated a lot of the times, and honestly, like, sports and, like, arts are just as important because, I mean, sure, you can go into the professional like league or whatever, like if you play football and you go into the NFL, like sure you can do that and you'll make a lot of money.
You can't play for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. And like if you really think about it, it's a small percentage of people who actually get to go to professional and who get to go. Like in my class, we were talking about today. Like they were like, oh, do you want to like this girl? Do you want to play softball in college? She was like, yeah, like I could, but like I don't really want to. And like they're like, oh, but do you want to like play professional whatever sport? And they're like, no, because like it's not realistic. Not everyone can do that, and you have to be able to realize that not all football players are going to be able to make it to the NFL because you're just not good enough at that point.
And also the thing about and also the thing about the NFL is that you have to like you're not just beating the people in your school or like in your division, you're beating everybody in the country. And it's like they like go for like the same type of people.
It's like that for like college athletes too, because if you play a Division I sport, you might get to go to college for free, but you have to think about it. You get nothing else. You can't have a job because you have no time. You can't support yourself, and then if you get injured when you're playing football or you're playing a sport, you lose your scholarship and you get to you have to drop out of school because you probably won't be able to afford everything.
And that's the craziest part. It's because like schools are so like positive about sports and stuff like that, and like I know a lot of people in our school who are getting like track scholarships and football scholarships and stuff like that. But then it's like they're not. I don't want to like say this, but like they're basically using you for your talent.
No, they definitely are.
And then as soon as something goes wrong, as soon as like you have to like a family personal issue or like something happens, they're not going to respect you in that kind of way. And I know my uncle, he when he was going to college, he actually had a scholarship to do track at his school, but he turned it down because he was like, I'm not going to do track at this school because even if I get a scholarship and they pay it in full, like they were literally going to pay his scholarship in full and he was going to get to go to college for free, but he was going to have to do track every single day. And I mean, sure, the Olympics
so it's like no social life, no outside life,
and you can't even live. Like if you focus, I feel like a lot of like professional athletes, like they do it because they love it, but it like when you do it just for the money, it's like you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, there's no passion. You can't have any dedication to it.
It's crazy because that's kind of how our school is too. Like you have practice, you have sports. They take sports so seriously for everything. You have practice every day and you have practice Saturday mornings. And you can't miss a practice because if you do, then you're like not
showing that
you're not showing that you care. But you can have other responsibilities.
And like
that you have to take care
kind of like going off of that, like you and me were in step clubs, so we're in the step team at our school and we're also on the track team, and it's like our coach doesn't really like when we have to like go for step and stuff like that.
I hope he doesn't watch this.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, he probably won't.
But like when we ask to go to step, it's like okay, like all right,
and he
can't miss another practice.
He asks us every single time, why is step more important than track?
It's not that it's more important. It's just like, why can't I love
you have other responsibilities, other things you're committed to.
Do shared time. I can go.
Exactly.
And that's all we're asking.
That's all we're asking.
We literally just want to go for like 30 minutes.
It's crazy because Steph is with the vice principal of the school and he still gets attitude.
Yeah, like the vice principal of our school,
literally asked him like, oh, can we?
Yeah, and we like kind of have to like use that but if like she wasn't the vice principal, like we probably wouldn't be going.
Yeah.
because like apparently like in sports, like it's just like sports are the number one priority. Everything else can wait. Like everything else can be.
They say it in like the beginning of the season, like a little bit. Oh, like we understand that you have other priorities. I heard this my freshman year that like I play lacrosse and they said lacrosse should be your number one priority, nothing else. And people were like, well, I have family obligations. They're like, no, nothing else.
Yeah.
And they say that they understand like that you have other things to do, but they don't understand. They don't care because they care about that one thing that you're doing with them, and that's it. They don't think that you should have a life outside. they say that they understand, but they really don't, and they know deep down that they don't really care about anything else that does not affect them with you.
Yeah. And that's where it like goes back to the whole thing of them like using you for your talents. Like schools, like the coaches, they get
want
paid.
a name.
They want that win.
And it also goes back
trophy.
to how like football and basketball are more important, because football and basketball, the top two, football, basketball, and track are probably like the top 3 things that you get scholarships for. So therefore, they're gonna be invested in that because they know that they could potentially get something out of it.
And then also, if you play like a sport that's just not like well respected, like at our school we have like a bowling team, we have like a golf team.
We have the bowling team and the golf team. And the field hockey team. People ask me like these. Yeah, we like won state we were the state champions this year for bowling, and nobody understands that because they're like, what is that? Like that's not a sport.
Yeah, and a lot of people
I give you props because I can't bowl.
Yeah, me neither. And a lot of people like going back to like how sports are just, I mean how arts are just like lower on the scale. Other sports are lower on the scale too. Like my mom, she really wanted me to do golf because like it's like not a lot of people do golf, and it's
a lot of scholarships for golf.
Yeah, and there's a lot of scholarships for it. And at the end of the day, it's like those sports are just not well recognized, and like people like shame them, like people like who have varsity jackets for like bowling team or golf team, they're like, you have varsity jacket, like that's not a varsity sport, like people
but
really
they worked hard to get it.
Yeah,
like for you, for example, you worked hard. Is it your
yeah, like I wish I could like bowl, like I cannot bowl.
And
like
bowling's fun though, like it's a fun
it's a fun
way,
sport.
so it's like.
And like I've been playing field hockey since I was in the 6th grade, and since the 6th grade in school, people have been telling me that's not a sport and you shouldn't do anything. But I'm the one who got my varsity letter over the people who play football and sit on the bench.
As you should.
Pick wood off the bench.
As you should.
And they're like, get mad when I say that, and I'm like, well, this is just a fact. Like you're just making something up, and I'm stating a fact.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people. Yeah, and a lot of people who are on the football team think that because they're on the football team that they're better than
everybody. They feel so entitled.
They feel they're better than everybody.
It's crazy, but
they don't.
Yeah,
and they play in the game.
It's
like, what are you really doing?
What are you doing?
But then when you bring up that they lost, they're like, I don't want to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, and
it wasn't my fault.
if you say it, the teachers or the coaches will be like, come on, they had a bad game. They had a bad game.
Had a bad
Like,
day.
so they can make fun of me that I lost like or one game, or like I lost something and they lost for the whole team. They embarrassed themselves in front of the whole school. But we can't talk about that.
But they also do like field hockey, tennis, golf, bowling. They don't get idolized as much as football games. You don't see have like a big huge crowd at a field hockey or
my mom and my dad come to our field hockey games, and that's it.
Same for step, because for step it's like it's tiring. But then they'll be like, oh, what is that? That sounds stupid.
Nobody at our school really. Sorry, keep going. Nobody at our school like really respects step. Like everybody keeps like what's the word? Like they are just like downplaying us. They're like, oh,
they think it's just a black girls club.
No, they think it's ghetto.
And then it does take a lot of work, and it's just like just clapping.
Yeah, it's just clapping.
Okay, but like they have no rhythm. The people who say that, like they can't even snap their fingers.
Yeah, like it's not that easy. It's a lot of like coordination and stuff, and like nobody understands that like step is just as hard as a sport. Like it's just as hard. It takes a lot of coordination, it takes a lot of practice to get like where we're at right now. And nobody like really like when we see like people walk in the hallways, they're always like, what are they doing?
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? We get the least respect because we're put in the hallway. And even when we're put in the hallway to practice, people run around in our practice when we're trying to practice.
Yeah.
And it's like we ask, like, can you stop doing it? But then as soon as we get loud or as soon as we get, like, aggressive with it, like, get out of our practice, we're ghetto or something.
Yeah, and it's
like that's what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, we can't even, like, we have to perform at the pep rally at the end of the month, and we've only had one practice in the gym because they don't let us go in the gym. And that's where the pep rally is, like, how we're supposed to coordinate, where we have to stand, and how long we have to take.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we always got kicked out of the gym.
Yeah.
For
Just
being
because
too
they
loud.
place like less, like it's like lesser than on the scale of other things that are more important to them,
And
because of like the money. Like the football team brings in the most money, even though in our school they were really bad this year.
Yeah, this year they had a rough year.
our school too, yes.
Yeah, they had a
And like because they bring in the most money for the school, and really like they say that our education is really important and stuff, but it really all goes back to like the money and just like, oh, like, well, we kind of have to place this over this because if you want to have that in our school, you need money, and you need to have money for
I
that.
feel like the schools have money, but they don't want to give it out.
Yes.
They don't.
Yes.
They have
They-
linger like
So it's like, oh, they need a football. You know,
The football needs all this money, like they have the biggest banquet, like all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, well,
literally, for example, there's this one kid. I can't say like exactly where he went because but this one kid, he's going to a college and he's the quarterback, right? They had the biggest signing party for him, and it's like everybody else who had a signing party, you didn't even hear about it. This signing party, you heard about it like literally every period. All the teachers were going. It was like the biggest thing ever, and it's like you're just like. I don't want to say you're just going to college, but like you're just going to college.
It's like they made a big deal of their life or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of like I remember, I know what you're talking about. So like that whole day, like half of my class left from the signing party, and we were just like,
I was just like, dang.
Because the rest of the people are just gonna be like, well, what did we learn last class? Like,
Exactly.
all right, well, if you weren't at the signing party, you would have known.
Exactly.
And like, I think what like at the end of the day, like they. Like school and like everything puts so much money into the things that they want to put money in, or the things that they think are the best to put money in. Like there's a lot of clubs that need funding, and like there's no money to be found.
Yeah, because we have to like fund for ourselves.
Yeah, and like you have to pay $25 to just be a part of a club that you actually shouldn't have to pay for. And like the religious clubs at our school are not official clubs. Like you can't say that you really aren't even a part of the club because they are religious, and you can't like talk about that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, I mean, if it's a club and if I go to that club, then I should be able to show and like be proud that I like actually support that. And like, but then again, like I can't say, oh, like I can't put that on my transcript. I can't say that I went and participated in this club because it's not an official club. Like what even is an official club?
And it's just weird because it's like the club with all the black kids in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh.
Like at my school, we have like a club, BYA, Black Youth Awareness. You know, it's basically towards
it's so
like,
underrated.
Black kids, but like, it's like other people can join, but it's like mostly you're talking about our history. Like, but we don't learn the history. We learn about what white people did, but they did this, the Asians did this, the Japanese did this. It's like, let us learn about what happened, what we created, what we did, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you only do like that little section.
And then a lot of times, like, people don't even understand. Like, going off of what you just said, like, a lot of times, half of the stuff that, like, Albert Einstein or whatever, like, they didn't really, like, do that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm saying, like, oh, whoever invented the light bulb didn't actually invent the light bulb. A black man like told them like how to do it, and then he took.
They get more credit for things.
Yeah.
That's just how it is in history, and that's how it is now.
Yeah. And it's sad to say, but like that's probably how it's gonna be for a while. Like that's like going back to this whole thing, like the generational disconnect.
Yeah, I feel like they need to teach. I feel like the generation before us needs to teach the younger generation about our history and about like I feel like they should teach the good things and don't teach black people to hate every other race just because they hated us.
Yeah.
They should teach
them.
them.
I think that's
where you live, but like you can love the other people too.
Yeah,
So, like,
but at the same time, you have to be aware of what happened in the past just so that we don't repeat it over.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, it's like I don't think like I feel like there are racist black people out there, and a lot of times it's like we should like you can't hate people for what they did, but you just have to like just know what they did. Like you don't have to hate a person. Like if somebody like talked about you behind your back, you don't have to hate them. Just know that they talked about you behind your back. Like you like that's kind of like how you have to like,
keep them at a far distance.
Yeah, and it kind of just goes back to like what we were talking about with our parents and how they want us to learn from our mistakes and grow from them, and basically like they want us to learn from our mistakes and grow from them, but like how can we do that when like our world doesn't do that, and like our country and like the people around us don't do that, and like they want to try to make us like different from like the rest, but like we like it's hard because of the society around us. Like they kind of teach us like not to because of what other people do.
And we're done.